Me personally, I'm Muslim, but the teachings don't very differentiate much. It's God's first, and you can always repent to God. God is forgiving. He's the most merciful. He's the most gracious, and anything is possible as long as you put Him first.
Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant.
How's it going, guys? I'm Travis. Welcome to Weighing In with Travis Hartman. I have the pleasure of having Jamaine Ortiz on the podcast today, who's fighting Saturday here at the Caribe Royale. We're inside the Stadium Club right now. You're fighting Saturday on DAZN. I know that you had a last-minute replacement. Steve Claggett got hurt, correct?
Yeah.
And then they put somebody else in. How do you feel about that? I know that as a fighter myself, the last-minute replacements, I hated it. I just hated it. I'm focusing on this guy, then you throw somebody else in there. But you do it long enough. I had 46 pro fights. You're a veteran. You've had almost 20 pro fights, I think, right?
Yeah, 22.
So how are you dealing with that right now?
It's nothing, man. One thing that I appreciate about having a good and long amateur career is you never know who you fight into the day of. And that's how I grew up. That's what I was accustomed to, and you just adapt and adjust on the fly. So it sucked because we was working very hard with a specific game plan according to this guy's style and how he comes in. And then literally the week before the fight, it switches up. And it's not like it was somebody with a similar style that I can still use what we've been working on. Completely different style. Dude is way taller. Dude is a boxer. Dude's on the back foot compared to somebody who's aggressive, same height. Completely switches it up. But to me, it is what it is. I adapt, I adjust, and that's what makes me great. So I don't think much of it.
I agree. We were talking about it with Eric. I get to see one of your fights here at the Caribe Royale. I was there live for it. And something about you is like you're very versatile. You're a good boxer. You have good ring IQ, and I think what you said is correct. Amateur career is so important.
Yeah.
I had 170 amateur fights too, so like it's extremely important. I think exactly what you said is like when we fight national tournaments, I don't know who I'm fighting till the morning of, literally, and then the next day you don't know who you're fighting because it's the winner of that. So you just go in there and fight. You know how to fight. You're a fighter. So like it's good to know that because some people just freak out, dude. And like you see upsets sometimes when fighters get last minute replacements because they're just so nervous about it. But your type of style, I think, and your ring IQ, you're good because you can adjust to anybody. But so now you're signed with BOXLAB. You've been with BOXLAB for what, about a year and a half now, I think, right?
My first fight with them was back in November,
So
2024.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's gonna come up it's about 9-10 months.
How do you feel being signed with them right now? Because who were you signed with before them? You were top rank, right?
Yeah.
Yep. How do you feel as a promotion company BOXLAB is doing?
I think BOXLAB is a great promotional company. It's a great venue that they get to put their fights on Caribe Royale. They have an extensive network. They're always doing collaborations with it's either Matchroom or MVP. Look at what they're doing now. It's a collaboration with MVP.
Back to back,
so
Friday and Saturday. Awesome.
Yeah, so it gives me a great opportunity. The fight before this one was on Matchroom card. This one's a MVP card. So it brings some versatility to the exposure you get. Different type of audiences. Even though it's boxing, Matchroom and MVP has a different type of audience.
Yep. Yeah. So something that our audience needs to know is that you've had 2 losses as a pro, but those 2 losses were to Vasyl Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, who were pound for pound easily in the top 10. Lomachenko easily top 2, top 1 at one time. How is that? How is that fighting? First of all, Lomachenko, who nobody wants to fight that guy, and you just fought him not long ago, 2022, 2021, not that long ago. How is that going into that fight? Fighting a guy who was great. He's great. We know this, right? Like, how was that going into that?
It was great because one thing, my coach, where is he? Rocky's over there somewhere. He would always joke around, like, oh, we're going to take a fight with Lomachenko. I was probably either just turned pro, still an amateur, and I used to watch Lomachenko all the time. His training videos, his fight videos, his amateur fights. Like, I used to try to imitate him all the time. And I was in training camp with him as well for one of his fights for about 5 weeks. So then to get the call to fight him was like,
Oh, that's
Wow.
pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Fighting one of the guys that I found, one of my favorite fighters, one of the pound for pounds, and me being there, I'm like, all right, it's my time to show out. It's my time to show out. So I was excited. It wasn't like, oh, I'm fighting my idol. It was more like, wow, like your idols do become your rivals, and I was just excited to beat my idol.
Yeah.
It's like when Allen Iverson crossed Jordan on the court. When he
Yeah.
was fresh. It was like one of them moments for me. Like I can't wait to cook this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So during that fight, I mean, this is insane to me though, but like, you went the distance with both of those guys, right? Like, what was that like being in there? Because you already been there with him, but being on the big stage and sparring are two different
Yeah.
things. But you're on the big stage with this guy. I mean, I don't. Boxing people know this, but like the average person, like Lomachenko's legit.
No, I think a lot of people didn't give me a chance. I knew that I was the big underdog, but I knew they had that fight lined up with him and Devin Haney. And Devin Haney is a person that I've been wanting to fight for as long as I can remember. I'm like, that
I
guy,
like
I
that.
know I'll cook him as
I
well.
like that.
But I thought I was winning the fight. I know that fight was very controversial. Both of my losses were very controversial in the sense of there's a lot of people that, thought I won,
Yep.
or it could have been a draw for both fights. So it was disappointing because me and my team thought we did enough. Some felt like I gave it away in the last 2 rounds. But nonetheless, it was a very close fight. And, I'm like, you know what? I learned a lot. It was my first time going 12 rounds, and it wasn't even for a world title fight.
Yeah.
So it could have just been a 10-round fight.
Yep.
But I'm like, you know what? I'll take whatever. I know they was going to use that against me because
Yep.
I've never fought 12
Yep.
rounds before. I'm like, it is what it is. This is the opportunity. I'm taking it however it comes, and I'm going to come and get mine. But I learned from it, and it was a great opportunity, great for my career, great learning experience. I definitely learned a lot from that fight. So
How about going into first of all, you obviously are great to be in the ring and to share the ring, to even be in a competitive fight with a guy like Lomachenko's impressive. So your skills they're there, right? You're right there, literally, and you know that. But how about going into that Teofimo Lopez fight? How is he? Because the guy talks a lot of trash. He's kind of out there a little bit sometimes. He's a little bit. I think he's a little off. But to be fair, I think most of us professional boxers, we are a little off. There's some wiring that's off with us, is why we do what we do, right? You got a little switch when you get in that ring,
Yeah.
like we're a little off, so that's fine. But he is a little off. So how was that? How was the lead up to that? The press conferences, how was all of that? Did you handle that well with Lopez?
yeah, like I expected him to kind of behave how he normally behaves, but he was very subtle and very quiet, kind of ignoring some questions, reading a book during the press conference. And for me, I just took that as he's intimidated. We fought before. He wants to play to the crowd like I'm not up to his standard or up to his caliber or on his level. But I know deep down inside he knew what I was coming with. After the Lomachenko fight, he
had
came
to.
to my corner, was like, man, I'm proud of you. You got that. You got that. This decision went the other way, but he rushed to my corner, so he knows what kind of fighter I am.
Yeah.
Plus, we fought again. We fought in the finals of the National Golden Gloves. So we've had
I
some
didn't
history.
realize that.
Yeah, we fought in the
Okay.
finals of the National Golden Gloves in 2015. So he's very familiar with me, and I just think he was trying to act like it was nothing. But when I stared into his eyes, I knew he was scared.
Yeah.
He was scared, and my whole thing was I was gonna embarrass him. He came in there like a clown, brought a circus, and I felt like that's exactly what I made him look like. I made him look like a clown. I was the matador, and I had him running around, chasing around. He slipped, couldn't cut off the ring, lost balance. But it is what it is.
So you've shared the ring now with two greats, honestly. Lopez is all of his pitfalls. The guy's pretty good, obviously. But I loved you said something else earlier, Devin Haney. How about that fight? Would you like that fight? If that came offering tomorrow, what do you say?
I'm jumping on it.
Yeah.
Jumping on it at 147. I'll go up to 147 and fight
To
him.
fight him. I love that fight, man. Honestly, what did you think about him when he fought Lomachenko? That was a very controversial one too.
Yeah, well, what I thought of it, I thought exactly what happened. In the sense, I thought Lomachenko pulled it off, but I'm like, the same way I would beat him is what Lomachenko kind of did,
Yeah. So how do you feel about how Devin Haney's career now post Ryan Garcia? Because after that Ryan Garcia one, I feel like he kind of fell apart a little bit, and then his last fight back was just it was against Jose Ramirez was pretty boring.
Yeah, it was.
He did what he had to do. And listen, I'm a boxer, and I can appreciate the art of boxing too. But man, that was not the art. I feel like he ran a lot that fight. I know you have to land punches too to win those fights. You do, but I just felt like that was not fun to watch.
I wouldn't call it running. I don't think he ran. I just think he didn't engage enough. And obviously, to him, he didn't want to risk taking a shot from a heavy puncher in Ramirez, and it's just first fight back. He doesn't know how his body's gonna react, so he just wanted to kind of get in there and move and get in, get out, play it smart. Now his next opponent with Brian Norman, maybe they know something I don't, but he seems like a heavy hitter.
I agree.
And, so
I'm gonna give Haney small props here though, because the guy's fought the best.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You got to give him some props.
Yeah,
and Brian Norman is unknown essentially to the average person. I know who he is, obviously, but essentially the average person, the Devin Haney fans, because Devin Haney's kind of another level. Most of those people don't know who Brian Norman is. Yeah. That dude's a risk. Yeah. I mean, he's legit undefeated. Could be the next division world champion there.
Yeah. So the fact that Devin has been taking these fights, even with Ramirez, right after Ryan and Brian Norman, Devin is definitely challenging himself and not scared. You can't say that. You can't say that he's scared. He's definitely fighting.
I actually agree with that. And as soon as I said running, I just wanted to smack myself. I sounded like a casual when I said that, because people used to say Floyd Mayweather ran. I'm like, no, he didn't. Floyd Mayweather was a great fighter. He went in, out, moved. If he's running, cut the ring off, right? He didn't run, but he didn't engage is the exact word for what Devin Haney just did against Jose Ramirez. I get why he did that too, because you're right. I was actually very surprised they picked Jose Ramirez for his first fight back after being a year. He was out of the ring for a year after the Ryan Garcia loss. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like he's fighting Jose Ramirez? And he went out there and he beat him. He did, but it wasn't fan friendly at all.
Most of the card wasn't fan friendly.
It was not. You're 100% correct.
The whole card wasn't really fan friendly.
I mean, the Garcia versus Rolly fight was only reason that was exciting is because it was an upset, but it was not exciting either, man. And I'm a boxing guy. I love boxing. The Teofimo Lopez fight was a little bit more exciting, but not even the best, but it was better than those two.
Yeah, it's because he plays with his hands a lot. He be trying to do moves, but it's a lot of distraction of look at what he's doing, fooling around, but it wasn't punching. But obviously he punched more than the other guys. Yeah. But it's a lot of moving my hands and
he was kind of showing off a little bit. He's trying to engage the crowd maybe. I don't know. So with that being said though, Devin Haney, let's say you got Devin Haney. How do you beat Devin Haney?
You guys gonna have to wait and see. I can't give it out.
I mean, I would love to see that fight, man. I've had a bunch of people on the podcast where I'm trying to set up future fights for them. I'm like, dude, put it out there into the world, put it out there into the environment that you want to fight Devin Haney one day, and it can happen. I mean, you fought Lomachenko, you fought Teofimo Lopez. You have the resume for that. You have the credentials. You're obviously good. You're a very talented fighter. I think that's a perfect fight for you, and I think that's a legacy fight. I mean, that's a huge fight. You get that guy on your resume too. Dude, you have three of the equally the greatest 135 to 140 to 147 fighters out there. Yeah. I mean, in the last 10 years, can you name better 135 or 140-pound fighters than those three guys? No. Not really, man. They're like
Terrence Crawford.
True, he's up there more, but I fought Terrence Crawford. Oh. I went the distance with Terrence Crawford in the pros.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So I fought Keith Thurman as well. I fought Terrence Crawford, I fought Chavez Jr., I fought Paez Jr., I fought Jesse Vargas in the pros. I fought in the amateurs. I beat Anthony Durrell to win the National PAL. I beat Nonito Donaire to win the Silver Gloves. Wow. So I've been around for a minute. So I look very unassuming, obviously, but I can fight too. I've been around 170 amateur fights, 46 professional fights. Wow. So that's why I love doing this though. I love having guys on like you who your IQ is what I love that. Just your ring IQ, your talent, your skill level, and how you can adapt in a mid-fight. That's what makes a great fighter. And that's a Terrence Crawford. Yeah. Terrence Crawford can adapt to anything. And that's what I told everybody after I fought him. I think he was 8 or 9-0 when I fought him. He knocked everybody out before me and then knocked 13 in a row out after me. So I was like, dude, this guy's the best. Watch. He's going to be a superstar. I said on the radio. Yeah. People were like, who the fuck is Terrence Crawford? I was like, watch. This kid, I've been in the ring with a lot of greats, and I was like, this kid's going to be the next great. I said it back in 2009. Look where we're at today. Look where he's at.
Should be a stock picker.
For this shit, man. I have an eye for, I'm telling you, and me and Terrence are still friends, actually. Terrence came on the podcast, so he's been on the podcast. But he's got a big fight coming up. Yeah. How you feel about that one? Canelo Crawford. What a very interesting fight. People thought it was crazy at first, but I was like, it's not that crazy, actually.
Nah. To think about it, break it down. Good thing is crazy, but he's testing himself. But I'm going for Crawford. I believe if it goes to decision, Crawford wins.
I think you're right. I'm openly now. I love Canelo, actually. I've become a big fan of Canelo over the last 3 to 4 years just because he fights everybody, too. People say he ducked David Benavidez, whatever. Terrence Crawford, or Canelo Alvarez has fought everybody. Like, look who's on his resume.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got Mayweather, he's got Cotto, he's got Mosley, he's got Kovalev, he's got Arizona Lara, who nobody wants to fight. There's some, obviously, that fight was probably a little closer than most think it was, too, but nobody wanted to fight Lara. Canelo fought him. Golovkin twice.
Bivol challenges
mean,
himself.
He does. And I'm like, dude, I love that about him. As a fighter, I love that about Canelo. And then now, me and Crawford, he's my buddy. Like, I like Crawford. So, like, emotionally, I'm invested in this one. But I'm like, I'm going to pick with my brain. I actually think Terrence Crawford's going to win.
Yeah,
I
so
think
too.
he's going to outbox him. I think he's going to stay away in a smart way. He'll engage when he needs to. But Canelo can be outboxed.
Yeah.
He can be outworked, and he has been.
Many times.
And people think the size is going to be a big difference. There's not a massive size difference. Crawford is actually taller than Canelo. Crawford's put the weight on fine. The size difference that's going to come into play is Canelo's used to getting hit by light heavyweights. He's used to absorbing all of that. Crawford's not used to that. So that's going to be the size kind of equivalent there is that. But other than that, Terrence Crawford physically is not going to be the smaller man. Even though he's coming up 3 weight classes, physically he's not. But he hasn't felt the power of those heavier weighted guys. Obviously, he's got sparring partners that they're trying to get that through. But fighting a Canelo, it's hard to find a sparring partner that's like Canelo.
Yeah, because he got good defense too.
He does. The guy actually, I think, honest to God, post Mayweather, Canelo's defense. It's oh my! If you look at his Mayweather fight, he had good defense too there. But Mayweather's also a sniper, dude. That guy hit anybody. But if you look at Canelo's defense in that fight, and then compare it to now, you're like, it's like, dude, I didn't think you could get better at that level already. I mean, he was 24, 25 years old, undefeated going into the Mayweather fight, loses the Mayweather fight. I'm like, that's the top of the line. I don't think Canelo can get any better. And that guy got better. And I don't know how you get better at being 40-something and 0, losing to Mayweather, and he got considerably better. And that's why I became a fan of him. Because I'm like, dude, I thought he hit his ceiling. And somehow he raised that ceiling and just got even better. I mean, he went up to light heavyweight and knocked out Sergey Kovalev.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty impressive. Canelo's 5'7". People don't talk about it. He's only 5'7". Kovalev's 6'1", light heavyweight, and Canelo went up there and knocked him out. Like, and Kovalev was a world champion at the time. It wasn't like Kovalev was, like, falling off. He did after that, but, like, Kovalev was a world champion at the time. So, like, I'm talking Canelo up here, and I don't need to. He's great, but I think the fight's awesome. But I'm going Crawford.
You see what got announced today? Jake Paul and Tank Davis.
What do you think about that?
But
do you know though? It says in that it's an exhibition.
Yeah, it's an exhibition.
Okay.
So big money fight, exhibition. I think Tank retires after that. I think Tank's out the game after that.
I just said this to somebody too before we came on here. I said, you know what, man? I'm telling you right now, I feel Tank has checked out of boxing. After that Roach fight, he's like, I think he's checked out, man. I really do. Because I think he's just, the business of it's stressful. Boxing's stressful. At that level, it is stressful. And I think it's mentally, it's kind of broken him a little bit. He's just like, I'm done, dude. This is a high level. And I think he's going to cash out with Jake Paul. And I think he's done. For a minute at least.
Yeah, I think he's been done before the Roach fight.
Yep.
You know, a lot of words and talking about like he doesn't want to do it. But this one's going to, it's like, what does he got to lose? Nothing. It's an exhibition.
Nothing.
Who knows how many rounds it's going to be. And I don't know. He probably won't take no hits. Probably just, I don't know what it's going to be like. But I feel like he's going to cash out and be retired and we won't see him again.
Yeah, I think you're right. Unfortunately, what I think is going to happen, Tank's so talented too. He's so talented. The guy's insanely talented. I think what's going to happen is, unfortunately for Tank, when Tank's not busy or occupied, he gets into trouble. And this is my prediction. I think he is going to retire and cash out after Jake Paul. And I think about a year or so will go by, he's going to get himself into some trouble, and he's going to need some money, and he's going to come back. And actually, I hope he comes back, though, because the guy's a great talent.
Yeah.
I love seeing him fight. And I'm not trying to talk smack on him. I'm just saying I know his history, and I know a lot of people around him, and he gets in trouble when he's not busy. And that's he just got in trouble. He just got arrested down in Florida, down in South Beach for domestic violence. And they dropped the charges, but it just shows you that, like, he needs to box. I think it just keeps his mind occupied. And for a guy like me, too, I'm the same way, dude. I'm like, I'm not getting in trouble like that, but I'm like, I need to be doing something. I'm like one of those active guys. Like, I can't just have idle time. I don't like idle time.
Yeah.
My mama always said, idle time's like devil's time. It's like when you're not doing anything productive, like that's just the devil kind of creeping
Oh yeah,
in.
especially for young kids, you know, that's why they keep them engaged in sports and stuff. You in programs. You don't want a kid after school to just not do nothing, just be outside chilling.
So it leads me to my next question. I've asked everybody on this podcast, every single person that's ever came on my podcast the last like 4 years, what is your belief? Do you believe in God?
Yes,
I love it. Good.
I do.
I'm glad because everybody said yes so far. I don't know what I would do if they didn't say yes, but I'm glad to hear that because I do think God is great. God is amazing. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for God. I mean, I fought some killers out there. I actually was supposed to fight Jermell Charlo, and a week before the fight, it was on ESPN down in Texas, and a week before the fight, I got in a car wreck. Wasn't my fault. Guy hit me, rear-ended me, and busted up my neck. I was out of boxing for like 2.5 years, but it was a week before Charlo. I think God was like, "Hey, Trav, like you're fighting," and Charlo was a killer at the time, especially then too. Like he was a killer then. I think God was like, "Hey, pump the brakes, bro. Like, we've got you through Thurman, got you through Crawford, got you through all these world champions. Like, maybe you don't need to fight Charlo." And I got in a car wreck, and I'm fine now. But I was out of boxing for 2.5 years after that. So I do believe in God, man. Like I said, I'm from a small town. I grew up in Missouri. I'm from Missouri.
Okay.
I graduated with 15 people in my graduating class. That's how small of a town I lived in. Population 400. Right?
Wow.
I went there from kindergarten through 12th grade. Our school was in one building. Elementary was like downstairs and high school was upstairs. That's where I was born and raised. I fought at Madison Square Garden. I fought on HBO pay-per-view. I fought in Denmark. I fought in Germany. I fought in France. I wasn't supposed to do any of this stuff. Nobody in my family fought. I was the first generation of our family to fight. I started when I was 6. But I was just like, why else am I boxing? Like, what the heck? This wasn't supposed to happen. I believed like God had a plan for me, and this is my plan. Because like none of this was supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to be where I'm at. And I believe that that's because of God. I really do. So I'm glad to know that you believe. I mean, that's good, man. Put God first, bro.
Always.
I'm telling you, you're never going to go wrong in your life by putting God first. Tell me any situation
I'm
in your
glad
life.
you're putting that out into the world. You know, people got to believe in God and make sure and know that they put him first.
I mean, that's like we're just talking with Eric. I talk with everybody. I'm just like, listen, there's a lot of false prophets out there, right? There's a lot of people that you know that go to church and believe all this stuff, and then on the side they're doing some really bad stuff, like some really bad stuff. None of us are perfect. I'm not even close to being perfect, right? I sin daily. I do. But God is forgiving and loving, and I think that the more God is, the better, because he does forgive us of our sins, and you just got to make sure you want to do better. He knows our heart too. But it's not about being perfect, right? God used imperfect people to get to where he's at and to help people get to where they're at. So I'm not saying you have to be perfect, by no means, but there are some false prophets out there that push people away from God. But when I did this podcast, I'm just like, you know what? This is my platform, and I do feel like I need to talk about it enough to where people know where I believe and know where other people stand too, because I think younger kids coming up and see guys like you at the level that you're at, you're a professional boxer, you're getting ready to fight on DAZN on Saturday, and you believe in God. So I think that I hope that we get some younger generation of boxers that come up and seeing this and be like, oh my gosh, you know, Jamaine believes in God. Like I want to follow that path too. So I hope that we can bring more people on that path, because again, what is God? Believing in God, how is that a bad thing? He teaches love. He teaches acceptance. He teaches anything, kindness, all of them. Like, dude, ultimately the Bible teaches love. The word love is mentioned in the Bible than any other book, I believe, like in the world. So I'm like, how's that bad?
No, it's not. It's not. Me personally, I'm Muslim, but the teachings don't very differentiate much. You know, it's God's first, and you can always repent to God. God is forgiving. He's the most merciful. He's the most gracious, and anything is possible as long as you put him first.
And I tell everybody, if you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything. So you might as well believe in something positive. And there's something up there that created us. No matter what denomination, no matter what, something created us. If you're believing in something or trying to serve a higher power, that makes us all better people.
Yeah. You can't be egoistic and think it's just all us.
And
the world doesn't work that way.
That's the key, man. Once I started realizing that I wasn't just living for myself, and that's happens with my wife. I have 3 kids now as well. I have twin boys, 16-month-old twin boys and a little girl. I'm just like, once I stopped living for myself and selfishly, my life has just grown so much. I know that I'm serving a higher power. I'm serving a God that's just so loving and kind. I have kids now that I'm serving. Like, myself, I'm third or fourth down the list, and I'm okay with that. My life is actually, I'm happier doing that
Giving.
than to doing
Giving.
selfish things.
Giving, I think it really. I've been to the position where I give a lot, and the feeling that you get by just giving and being selfless, it's a feeling you can't really replace with anything else.
I think there's something so awesome that I remember. I used to do a charity event every year until COVID hit for a Children's Cancer Foundation. But I remember a Muhammad Ali quote. He said, "Service to others is the rent we pay for our time here on earth." And I was just like, that is, yes, you're so right. Like, I'm just renting this space right now, right? And to pay that rent every day is my service to others.
We're here for a certain amount of time, and we don't know how long that time is.
So I would love to affect as many people in such a positive way that I can. And that's why, again, thank you for coming on the podcast, man.
Thank
I
you for
appreciate
having
having
me.
these vibes. I appreciate having that. And listen, I'm a Christian. You're a Muslim. So what? Right?
There's never
We can still sit
no-
at this table and have the same love for each other and have the same respect for each other. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. I don't think people understand the commonalities between the religion and how interfaith dialogue works, and how once upon a time we all eventually come from the same place. We have the same prophets. We come from the same place, same teachings, almost. So
Yeah, I mean, not to get in too much detail because I don't know all of it, but I know that even in the Muslim religion, they recognize Jesus Christ existed. They just don't believe him that he was a prophet, but they are that he was the Messiah. But
they believe him
it's-
to be the Messiah, and that he will come back.
yeah, but it's just like
Just not
fact
in the
that you-
Trinitarian, just the Trinitarian doctrine.
there you go.
That's the difference.
Yes, so that's what like they believe that Jesus Christ existed.
Yeah.
And I love that. I can get down with that. Like I believe something a little different is all, but at the end of the day we believe he existed
Yeah.
and we believe that
And his teachings.
we believe that, and that's where we can find some commonality in life. And for me and you, commonality is boxing, man. I love what you do in boxing. I love how you're a technician. I love that you bring this to the
The
boxing game.
technician. That's what you guys gonna see Saturday night.
Let's get it. So that's what I want to tell the Orlando people. So I actually live in Central Florida now. I live in Orlando. I actually live 15 minutes from the Caribe Royale.
Okay.
So I get to go to. I've been going to the fights at BOXLAB since they started. I was one of their first supporters, and I remember going to their fights. And I was talking to Eric about it, Eric and Amari, and I was talking to him about it. I'm like, man, listen, I've been to so many fights, obviously all over the world. I was a boxer and then as a fan too. I came to their shows. Their first couple of shows were like, oh, they weren't that good. But every single show they had, Eric would text me or call me the very next day and be like, hey, Trav, what do you think? Is there something that we blah blah? And we just started talking for like a couple of years. And their shows, from what they are now to what they were in the beginning, are like night and day. And I think that's a great thing. We're talking about constructive criticism is good.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, if you can't take some criticisms and figure out how you can do better, then you're never gonna succeed in anything, whether it's life, relationships, boxing, whatever. Eric and Amari, they did. They're like, yeah, you're right, dude. We need to fix this. And they did. Every single time they did another show, they fixed the previous show's problems. And I was just like, you guys are gonna be good, man.
Yeah. I made a post like that probably like a couple years ago. I'm like, if you can't tell me what I do wrong or you can't criticize me, then I don't want you around me.
True friends will tell you the hard truth. They will. And that's why you always hear when people make it big, they have a lot of yes men around them. People that are always telling you yes or always telling you things that not necessarily true, but they're just trying to keep you happy. You don't want those people around you, man. Your emotional growth is not going to go. You're stunting your emotional growth. You're stunting your growth in anything when all you have is yes men. You need those people around you to obviously be supportive. Yes. Like my dad was delusionally believed in me to such a delusion that it was actually kind of crazy. But I'm where I'm at because of him, though, too, because he believed in me so much. He wasn't a yes man. He would tell me, hey, you need to do this better. Pick your right hand up. Stop throwing your left hook so bad, whatever. My dad was in my corner from my my first amateur fight till my last pro fight. He was in my corner for every one of my fights. Oh, to this day still. So
That's a good feeling.
It is a good feeling because he's just my pops and I know he wants the best for me, and that's what I love having around me is that too. But back to what you were saying, you're so correct. You need people around you to tell you the hard truth. That's the only how you get better. You don't get better by people constantly telling you how perfect you are. You need people motivating, yes, but we make mistakes all the time. In the ring, out of the ring, doesn't matter. You need those people to hold you accountable. I think that's the key to it all.
It is. That's the only way you're going to get better. Just adjust, adapt. That's the only way.
Well, brother, I appreciate you coming on here. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but come see this, man. Saturday at the Caribe Royale. Tickets are at Ticketmaster. We're recording here at the Stadium Club, which this place is awesome, too. Come check it out, too. I think they're having the after-fight parties here both nights. We're talking about Friday and Saturday. So with that being said, are you going to go to the fights Friday, too? Because you're here.
Nah.
You're gonna stay away from it, yeah,
I'll
because you're
fight
chilling,
Saturday.
man.
I'm chilling. I'm gonna be in bed sleeping.
This is crazy though. I've never seen back-to-back TV fights here. I just never seen that before. It's the first time it's happened here for sure. And they're TV fights, and they're pretty big fights. It's a stacked card.
Yeah.
Both nights, dude, there's stacked fights there. You have world-class level fighters fighting on both nights.
I've never seen it. It's great because the people who come and who are already staying here and they get in on Friday, it's like, yo, we staying busy. We're gonna watch the fights Friday and Saturday.
I think it's awesome, man. Unfortunately, I'm actually not gonna be here Saturday. I'm
That
a little,
sucks.
but it's gonna be on TV. I'm gonna watch it. I committed to a golf tournament back in Missouri like 6 months ago. It's a benefit for the old high school I went to. I can't pull out of it, but I'm bummed because I'm like, one of the best weekends of these fights, and I've been to all of them. I'm gonna miss them, but I'll be tuning in. Don't you worry. I'll be
Alright,
watching, man.
alright,
I'll be
tune
keeping
in.
up with you. I've been keeping up with you. I watch you on one of the Caribe Royale fights. Your last Caribe Royale fight here, I believe it was. I was here for that too. But again, I don't keep you any longer. Thank you for coming on, Jamaine.
Thank you for having me.
Go check this guy out. I hope to see you in the ring, honestly. Not looking ahead at all. Get this one out of the way for sure. But you got a bright future down the road, man.
Thank
Get
you.
this out of the way. This is in your way right now, right? Nobody else really matters. Saturday, get this guy out of the way, man. But I could see you in the ring with some big time fighters down the road, bro. And don't big time me after that. When you start
Nah.
getting up to that, you get a Devin Haney fight or you get one of those fights, man. Don't forget about me.
Nah,
Come
I
back on the
won't.
podcast.
I'll come back.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right, thank you.
God bless.